Lowe's knows how to help you save. This July 4th, get up to 40% off select Whirlpool kitchen appliances. Plus, get an additional 10% off when you buy 2 or 3 select major appliances. And when you buy 4 or more, you'll save an additional 20%. Find the right appliances and features that fit your kitchen's unique needs and style. Shop Whirlpool 4th of July deals at Lowe's. Valid through 7/9. See Lowe's.com for details. Savings vary based on purchase amount. Selection varies by location.
Hello and welcome to True Crime and the Court of Public Opinion. I'm Alexis Knight. Headlines, they used to tell you what happened. Now they're a trap door, aren't they? They lead you straight into someone else's agenda. They don't need to be true. And that's why, welcome. We are here with Headline Lies, where we gut the garbage, expose the bait, and remind you that just because it's trending does not mean it's true. In this episode, I'm going to go over some headlines from the past few days that were crafted to stir outrage and confusion and blind loyalty. Not truth. From celebrity theater to international power plays, this is what really happened and what they want you to believe. Let's get into it. All right, let's break down the latest fire starter. And it reads, "Climate misinformation is turning crisis into catastrophe." That's the headline. Not influencing, not worsening, turning the crisis into catastrophe. It sounds like the internet is melting the polar ice caps with a Facebook post. But if you actually read the IPIE report that dropped this week, that is not what it said. It is not saying we are in catastrophe, not yet. It is warning us that we could be headed there. If misinformation keeps drowning out science and slowing down actual policy, that is a serious message, but it got flattened into a panic headline because that's what moves. That's what is happening every day out there when we look at our feed these days. And here's the problem. The real story wasn't clickable enough, right? Let's face it. So they sensationalized it, like they always do. Instead of focusing on who's spreading the misinformation or how misinformation is being funded and amplified, the press just slapped catastrophe in the headline, and they called it a day. Meanwhile, people scroll, and they think, well, it's already too late. Might as well grab a steak and drive a Hummer. That is not journalism. That is nihilism with a byline. The actual IPIE report, guys, said something nuanced. It warned that climate lies, the TikTok pseudoscience, the paid denial bots, the YouTube scientists with zero credentials, they are confusing people on purpose, and it's actually delaying progress. That is a real problem and a real concern. Not that we're doomed, but that we're being talked out of even trying. And that's where headlines like this are a part of the problem. Because if you tell people it's already a catastrophe, they just shut down. If you want change, tell people the truth. And tell people it is still possible, because it is. That the small window is still there. It is not closed. The fire is not out, but the hose is in our hands. That doesn't get clicks, though. Sure as hell doesn't sell ads. So instead, you get, hey, misinformation is turning the climate crisis into catastrophe. End of thought, no context, no nuance, just total despair. Look at that thing. And that's what we need to call out. Not just the lies on TikTok, but the lazy shortcuts in journalism that make everything sound like the end of this world. For how many years have we been facing the end of the world anyway, guys? Here's the truth. The real catastrophe is that people might stop believing it's even worth trying. And that is the story you didn't get. But now you have it. And all right, next up, this one's juicy because it's a lie wrapped in a fire. You've seen the video, a street in LA, smoke. A car engulfed in flames, right? How many videos? Protesters screaming. And headlines like this that read, "Violent immigration protests in LA spark chaos, fires, and property damage." Click, click, click. The problem is that video wasn't even from this year. That's right. That clip of the flaming car, the one that ran wild on X and TikTok, it was from March of 2024, and it had nothing to do with immigration or ICE or any protest at all. It was from a street racing incident in Hyde Park. So what happened? Somebody took an old video, slapped on a new caption, added some hashtags like Biden border crisis and invasion, and boom, viral gold. It's just a playbook, guys. And then the press picks it up. They run with it, frame it like LA was burning again. No one stopped to ask, when was this footage actually taken? Where was it? Is it even connected to the protest? No, because the visual told the story they wanted to sell. Fire and fear. People out of control. And here's the thing. Protests did happen. People are pissed about immigration raids. They showed up, they marched, some clashes happened, but there were no firebombs, no riot lines, no city blocks torched. The footage was fake, but the feeling it gave you, that stayed real. Because that is how propaganda works now. It doesn't need to be true. It just needs to feel urgent. And when media outlets pick up old clips and they treat them like breaking news, I mean, whether it's lazy reporting or deliberate drama, what does it matter? They are feeding you a lie in real time. And most people never find out. They don't read the fact checks. They don't see the correction days later, if there even is one. They remember the burning car, and they think, wow, LA is really out of control. And the machine moves on. This is the real trick of the media now. Are you getting this? It's not what they say. It's how they're saying it, what they're showing you. It is weaponized aesthetic. Give you 5 seconds of chaos and let your brain fill in the rest. Because your fear is profitable. Fear gets shared. Fear keeps you watching. Fear gets you thinking something's got to be done. And the more afraid you are, the less you stop to question. So let's be clear. The real protest in LA, that was organized. All right? Loud? Sure. Tense? Maybe. But violent, fiery anarchy? That was a rerun from a totally unrelated burnout in 2024, this latest one. They just recycled it and threw your brain into fight or flight. They got you to look, click, and share. And I mean, if that's not a lie, I don't know what is. Recycling something and letting you react as if it's now? The real headline should have been old street racing footage used to misrepresent immigration protest. But that's not going to go viral. It's not going to do anything. So here we are. Once again, you were not informed. You were baited. Okay, and here's a headline you probably missed, but the ripple effect is very real. It says, Senator suggests Minnesota shooter was a Marxist. This came out just days after that horrifying shooting at a campaign event in Minnesota. Everyone was still reeling. We didn't even have full details yet. And then, boom, a U.S. senator decides to send this out on X. Looks like another Marxist shooter to me. Now, did you hear that? Based on what? A photo? Some vibes? Maybe a shirt color? Either way, just like that, the political blame game was off to the races. No evidence, though, no investigation, just vibes-based accusation from someone in office. And that's not just reckless. That is deliberate chaos. Because once the idea was out there, this thing stuck and people ran with it. This was political violence. This was radicalized. Comment sections went nuclear. Videos popped up claiming it was Antifa or far-left extremism, Marxist terror, all without one single shred of confirmation. And this is what I mean. And here's the real kicker. Days later, fact checkers like PolitiFact and AP came out and said flat out, there is no evidence connecting the shooter to Marxist ideology. Pants on fire. But by then, it's too late. The lie had already done what it needed to do. It had framed the narrative. Because the truth, I mean, the truth moves slow. The truth needs all those details. The truth needs actual reporting. Work. But the lie, it just needs one post, one senator, one viral clip. And suddenly you've got half the country thinking political violence is a leftist trend. But there's nothing to back that. Not in this case. It's not right. This is not just irresponsible. It is dangerous when things like this are out there. Because while we're fighting each other over imaginary factions, no one's talking about the real issues and the real things we're seeing. Like, why did this person have access to a gun? Were there any missed red flags? What role did social media play in amplifying his actions? No. They were too busy turning a tragedy into a team sport. And what that does, what does that say about where we are now, I guess, is really the question. That a sitting senator in the United States can post a baseless accusation, and millions of people will take it as gospel truth because it feels right. We can't do that anymore. That's not the world we're in. Everything needs to be fact-checked by us. And I mean, come on, that's not leadership by the senator. That's narrative engineering. And the people who fall for it, they're not stupid. They're overwhelmed. And they had trust here. And that's what I'm saying. We can't trust anything online anymore. Nothing, really. We're all exhausted from real headlines, so we latch on to the ones that tell us things that support what we already believe. And that's what they're counting on. They're using that. Let's clean this one up. The shooting happened. It was horrifying. But there is zero evidence that the shooter had any Marxist ties. That is also something that needs to be noted. The narrative was fiction, but it did its job. And next week, another headline will show up, guys, and we'll start the cycle all over again. Unless somehow we can stop this, and don't. Unless we stop treating tweets like truth. People's words as gospel. I mean, here's the real headline. Senator uses a tragedy to sell a story, and no one asked for proof. I mean, that's the part they're never going to print. That's what actually happened. And now you know. All right, and now let's play a quick game. Picture this. A row of National Guard troops lying on the concrete, helmets under their heads, rifles stacked beside them, and the caption, U.S. troops sleeping on streets in Afghanistan. And the comments? Off the rails. We abandoned them again. Well, this must be Biden's America. Look what they're doing to our soldiers. The only problem, though, is that photo was not taken in Afghanistan. It was in June 9th to be exact, of 2025, in Los Angeles, California. Domestic deployment. Post-protest positioning. Troops resting between assignments after a long patrol downtown. But the second it hit the internet, it got yanked out of any reality, dunked in emotional gasoline, and lit on fire. Because it's possible. The real story wouldn't sell. Troops in LA's logistics. Troops in Afghanistan. That's outrage. There's something we can make out of this. And in 2025, outrage wins. So when the caption writers went with the fiction, they knew what they were doing. And the people ate it up, just like they thought they would. And then came the spin cycle, of course. You had the memes that come afterwards, veteran reaction videos, news segments about declining morals. Just plays out like it always does. All based on a misleading label slapped into a real image. No one stopped to verify the location. No one sourced the photographer, because in the age of algorithm warfare, that's what we're in, if you have not noticed yet. Truth and verification, it's all optional now. Here's the deeper part, though. This was not a one-off. This tactic, right, has been happening all over the place, and it's happening more and more, and that's why I'm here telling you about it every Monday and Friday. A real image, fake context, mass reaction, which causes clicks and shares, and, as we are learning, makes the person who put this up a lot of money. So while you're getting outraged and clicking for no reason, you're buying someone a car. I mean, this is the new disinformation gold standard. And the scariest part is, even if the truth does come out later, the damage is done, the profit was made, and no one cares anymore. People saw the photo, they felt the emotional hit, they did share it. And even if someone tells them later, hey, that was in LA, that wasn't even real, it's too late. And they've been fed new headlines by then, so they just don't care anymore. But the brain will remember the story it felt, not the correction it read. So let's be crystal clear. The National Guard photo was a legit photo. The moment was real, but the war zone was not. And the bigger question is, who benefits when we mistake an LA picture for a battlefield? Why does this happen? Because someone is benefiting. Who is profiting from a country thinking it's constantly at war with itself? Why do we want to push this narrative? Who wins when Americans believe the streets are overrun and the troops are failing and falling and everything's falling apart? I'll tell you who doesn't. You. You're fed a story that makes you afraid and makes someone else a lot of money. You start seeing every city as a danger zone, changes your thinking. You start tuning into these influencers for your truth, and they're selling fear as fact to you, and you're eating it up. So let's rewrite this one, shall we? The real headline should be National Guard rests after LA deployment, mislabeled as an Afghan disaster. Yeah, it's not quite as sexy, is it? That's why the truth doesn't sell. But definitely a hell of a lot more honest. Personally, I'd rather just know the truth. Okay, and this one crossed borders and algorithms. It read, the UK is spending $1 billion a month to house asylum seekers. $1 billion per month. I mean, this sounds like national collapse. Sounds like British taxpayers are basically footing the bill for an invasion, doesn't it? That's what the headline wants you to think. Except that number, it's completely false. It just is. The real cost of housing asylum seekers in the UK, it is $108 million a month. That's not nothing, of course, but it is not even close to $1 billion. So where did the lie come from? A viral post, one graphic, poorly sourced, widely inflated, but polished just enough to look official. Then a few news-like outlets pick it up. No verification, no math. And now you've got voters convinced that nearly half of the UK budget is being spent on hotel rooms for migrants. And let's be clear, the lie isn't about budget math anyway. It's not. It's about blame. It's about giving people a villain, one they can point at. Not the government, not policy, not broken systems, no way. But people who fled war, poverty or worse, now being painted as some luxury burden. And it's not just happening in the UK. This is a global playbook now. Inflate a number, link it to immigration, watch the panic spread. Because panic is useful. If we aren't learning that yet, panic distracts. Panic keeps people from asking real questions like, wait a second, what does $1 billion a month even look like? You know what that number would mean? Over 30 million a day. That's £1 million an hour. There would be helicopters dropping caviar on tents in Hyde Park if that were true. But no one ran the math. They just ran their mouths. And here's the kicker. When the correction came out, because it did, it was very quiet. That did not go viral. No splashy headline that read, actually, hey guys, sorry, it's only 108 million and not $1 billion. I mean, that retraction doesn't get any rage. It doesn't get clicks. It's not going to make anyone any money. So the lie won. And the public, they're stuck arguing over a fake number. I mean, aren't you tired of arguing with everyone you know, trying to prove a point? You don't even know if it's true half the time. Let's set the record straight here. Immigration is very complex. Housing costs are very real. But no, on this one, the UK is not hemorrhaging $1 billion a month for asylum seekers. That headline was designed to enrage, not inform. And now you know. And since we're talking about immigrants, let's go to this wonderful headline that reads, claims undocumented immigrants are voting in LA elections. I mean, buckle in. This one came out just this week. It's literally bleeding into your feed right now. Undocumented immigrants are manipulating votes in LA. Sounds very intense. And that's because it is. It's lightning rod material. But here's the twist. As soon as LA County officials checked this, they dropped the hammer. The claim is false, they said, unsupported, and only serves to create unsubstantial concern and confusion about the electoral process. They're trying to make it right. Instead of loud voices steering the conversation, let's keep this real. This was not a leaked investigation. It wasn't a scandal. Nobody uncovered fraud. This was a completely baseless rumor amplified to drum up fear from you. And where did it start? A post on social media dressed up like a bombshell, and then it goes viral. Local reporters asked the county, found zero evidence, and officials confirmed the safeguards work. Still, that didn't stop the rumor from spiraling. Because fear sells faster than facts. Can't say it enough. Let's be honest. Few things are more reliable at grabbing clicks than immigrant plus voting fraud. I mean, whoa, that's going to ignite a lot of people. Just those words. Me saying it out loud right now. Immigrant voter fraud. Whoa. This thing hit fast and loud. It lit the panic. And then it went away. The real soundbite, hey, the county has safeguards in place to ensure that only eligible voters cast ballots. But that's not exciting. That's not going to do anything and cause clicks and shares. Hey, guys, voting's good. Don't worry about it. No one cares. I mean, we do care. But the emotions they play on don't care. I mean, too little, too late. The truth doesn't matter. Think about it. A single rumor turned into a national chatter point. Debate shows lit up. Comment sections turned toxic over this. People started questioning the legitimacy of an entire city's election. All for nothing. No court filing, no investigation. When are we going to wake up, guys? This is fear-engineered buzz. And then, as usual, the retraction quietly lands in fine print. And no one's reading at that point. They're exhausted. They were already mad over the lie. No headlines read, whoops, no proof undocumented voters flipped the LA vote. It's not a story. It certainly does not make clicks. It does not get anyone profit. And here's the part they don't want you to remember. The system actually did work here. Oversight did happen. And this claim was a failure. But the damage was real. People are now questioning the legitimacy of our elections, right? This kind of stuff, you know it's happening. I'm giving you one example. So, I mean, give me a break. This story is going around every town all over the place. Doubt festers. It's the fog that hides the real threats to democracy. Let's rewrite it. False rumor about undocumented voting in LA debunked. County confirms system checks and balances. Not as viral, maybe, but it is the truth. And until truth gets the same megaphone as misinformation, this cycle will keep spinning. But you know better now. That's why you're here listening. Pass that on. All right, heading overseas again for a second. You may have seen this one floating through your feed. A massive plume of smoke, chemical fire pouring into the sky, flashes lighting up the night like a war movie. The caption, it read, breaking. Israeli strike hit Iranian port facility with chemical payload. This sounds terrifying. And that is the point of it, because this footage, not only is it not recent, all right, it's not related to Israel at all. Can you believe it? This is the truth. Routers confirmed it. The video is misattributed. It was not from this month. It was not from this conflict. It wasn't even from a war. Just a chemical fire at a shipping port. No strike, no attack. Nothing to see here, guys. Just dangerous cargo at some really dramatic timing. Okay, that we get to use now as a headline to freak you out. I mean, that doesn't stop a video like this from spreading. The fact that it's not true, it's just too good not to share. It's too good because it'll get a reaction. It has to be used. And people reposted it like they knew they would. They added hashtags like Israel strikes and Iran under attack. People got very into this. I mean, the engagement was sky high because fear drives the algorithm. It happens every minute. And right now, Iran and Israel, they're the hottest flashpoint on the planet, right? So if you're trying to go viral, maybe you need a few bucks, slap a scary caption on an old video. And boom. Fake fire, real clicks. What's worse is this wasn't just some random TikTok account. Some of these videos were picked up by real news aggregators and then shared without any verification. Those are your major media outlets, guys. And that's how fast lies move now. If they can get you to click and react, nobody cares if it's true at all. Everyone just wants in. You don't even have to fake the footage. Just repurpose it. Okay? You can have something real. Let the context do the lying for you. And most people will never know. Like you. They'll see the video, feel the panic, carry that tension into the next headline, the next conversation, even the next vote. Most people don't want to believe that this can happen to them. Like, well, whatever she's talking about, that's not happening to me. I only click on real headlines. And you can only say that, though, if you actually did the research and verified that what you're clicking and reacting to is actually real. Because it probably isn't. And I know it's hard to believe. I know it is. That's why there's an entire podcast that dedicates a Monday and Friday every week to this, because that's how big it is. This is how global narratives get hijacked, not with breaking news, with recycled fear. Let's be honest, the media doesn't care anymore. The truth is boring. Chemical fire at port, that doesn't sell. But Israel drops chemicals on Iran, that is a movie. We're all involved in this. And once that image is in your head, it is very hard to unsee. Real video, fake frame. That's the game now. And the damage is done long before the fact checks ever land. It's too late for facts. Here's the real headline. Old port explosion misrepresented as chemicals strike. Fear wins again. That's the headline I'd run right now. This time the footage was real. The fire was real. But the war, that part was all fiction. We have to really look at the headlines that we are reading every day with a magnifying glass, and we have to fact check. Why would you dedicate your time clicking and sharing and telling all your friends before you even know something is true? And I'm here telling you that 90% of what you are clicking is not true. All right, next up, let's talk about a headline that crossed a visual line. Picture it. Nighttime skyline, huge explosion. Shockwave rattles the camera, and the caption. Breaking. Iranian weapons depot hit by Israeli airstrike. This went viral immediately, of course. Thousands of reposts, retweets, commentary videos. Except there is one problem. That explosion was not even in Iran. It wasn't even this week. It wasn't even in this decade. The footage is from China. Well, 2015, decade. It is an explosion in China. This was a real industrial incident that happened, but it's not a missile. It's not a strike. Just improperly stored chemicals blowing up a port in northern China almost 10 years ago. But this week it resurfaces with a brand new caption, and people went nuts. How brilliant. Israel hits Iran. I mean, people full on believed this. Maybe you did. Why wouldn't you? The explosion was terrifying. It looked like war. And that is how this kind of lie works. You don't need a deep fake. You don't need CGI. Just grab some real destruction, detach it from time, and slap it into a different story. And boom, you've got weaponized footage. And make no mistake, this was not a harmless mix-up. This video made it into international news compilations long before any fact-checkers caught anything about it. It was shown in Middle East updates, dropped into forums, even popped up in defense analysis threads. I'm telling you this so you realize you should not believe anything you read before you check it. But people didn't do that. They were sharing a literal industrial tragedy like it was this week's battlefield footage. They all thought they knew something important and they were going to share it with everyone. None of it was what they thought it was. I mean, people still don't know it's fake. I mean, by the time Reuters or AFP or PolitiFact catches something like this, it's already gotten millions of views. That is the world we're living in now. The image goes viral. The truth never catches up. The people spreading it, they rarely face any consequences. None of this is regulated. They can say, hey, I didn't know. I just reshared something. Accountability dodged. But the impact is still there, isn't it? You saw a giant explosion. It was real. You felt a rush of panic. And somewhere in your brain, a news story locked in that it's getting worse over there. That's what you think you know, even if it's not. You can't unknow what you think you know. It's sort of it's something like humans just can't do. You know, the sky is blue. It's not red. It's going to be hard for someone to convince you it is red. That's how much people believe these lies. But that clip, 2015. The country, China. Explosion and industrial incident. That is the fact, whether your head is exploding or not. That is the truth of what happened here. No missiles, no Iran, no war. It was just a tragedy dragged out of the past and shoved into the present for internet clout. The real headline should be China's 2015 industrial blast used in fake Iran conflict footage. And the world fell for it. And if they'll do it with that one, you know they're doing it all over the place. Everywhere, all the time. Let's go to the next one. I mean, this one feels like it came straight out of satire, but people still believed it. It read, UK's Royal Air Force paints jet pink for Pride Month. Not a decal, not a patch. An entire combat aircraft, allegedly decked out in bright pink, flying over the countryside for Pride. The image? A clean render of a typhoon jet glowing hot pink under the clouds. And the reaction? Everything from Slay Queen to the West is doomed. China would never. The only problem is it never happened. There was no pink jet. No official paint job, no rainbow makeover. Reuters fact-checked it. The image was a mock-up. A digital design made by a civilian artist online. This was not military. No initiative here, not a taxpayer expense, not a real plane even. But by the time that correction dropped, the lie had already gone global. It sparked debate, rage, and applause. Over nothing. It's not even real. But everyone was involved. Good for them. I mean, depending on which way your algorithm leans, you might have been involved somehow. And that's the real story here. This was not about pride or paint. It's about provoking a reaction for what? That's right, profit. You can drop a fake print jet online, put it into a timeline, and boom, culture war unlocked. People will fight to the death over something that doesn't even exist. But how fun to watch, and let the money roll in. Here's the scariest part. The people posting this, a lot of them knew it was fake, and they shared it anyway, of course. Yep, people are like that, whether you want to believe that also. They knew exactly what kind of reaction it would trigger, and it did. Let's call it what it was. A designer's artwork taken out of context, turned into a viral lie, and used to stoke division. All right? They've done pride patches, they've done outreach, but a pink jet? Nope. Here's your rewrite. The RAF Pride jet was never real. Digital art turned into headline bait. There it is, clean and simple. And hopefully the next time you see a hot pink warplane online, you might ask yourself, is this real? Maybe ask for a flight before you lose your mind. Because people believing stuff like this just automatically, it's kind of getting insane, guys. Let's take this next one. Drone footage shows recent strike on Israel. Or does it? Let's close this international round that we have going with this headline that proves how far a drone can fly even when it's fake. Drone footage shows strike on Israeli apartment complex. Wow. The video, overhead view, gray skies, a drone locking onto a building, and then boom. Crumbling walls, screams in the background, a familiar soundtrack of modern warfare. The Post said it was from this week. It tagged Israel under attack and Iran strikes back. Thousands of reposts, instant outrage. But here is the truth. That drone footage wasn't from Israel. It wasn't even from this week or this conflict. It was from Ukraine. Yep, that same footage had already circulated months ago. I guess you saw it or didn't see it. It doesn't matter. You're flying through posts and reacting so fast you don't even remember what you reacted to last week. But this already had circulated, showing Russian attacks. Yep. And somebody just clipped it, recaptioned it, and let it rip. And thousands of people believed Israel was being hit harder than ever, even though the building wasn't even in the same part of the world. Why does this matter? It matters because video proof used to mean something, didn't it? It was a video. And they're playing on that. Now you cannot trust your eyes. I can't say it enough. One wrong caption and a building in Eastern Europe becomes a war crime in the Middle East. People run with it. Media analysts run with it. Commentators run with it. Influencers, they need more cash. They're going to absolutely run with it. They'll share it without a second thought. Fits the narrative, it makes them cash. And that's all that is needed these days. Real footage, fake war. And people believe it. But they're not stupid. They're overloaded. Everyone is overloaded by headlines, and you're trying to be smart, but you are falling for it. Trying to look for something to make sense of the chaos, and you're right in the middle of it. If we don't start checking the context, guys, we're just building castles on lies, defending them like they're truth. This one should have been viral drone footage from Ukraine repurposed to fake Israeli attack video. Real suffering is already happening, guys. We don't need fake clips stacking false rage on top of real pain. Enough is enough. You saw the footage, and now you know the truth. That's the end of this headline. But not the end of the war on your perception, is it? I mean, these headlines are real. And again, we could go on all day. Let me just list out some final headlines here that if you see them, no go. They are not real. First up, air raid sirens to warn of new COVID strain. False. Came from a satirical Australian site. No. Video of Chongqing parking lot fire is from Israel-Iran war. False. That's a local fire in China, guys. Video clip shows Tehran chemical fire after Israeli strike. False. Reuters confirms the fire predates the alleged attack. Crimea blasts signal Moscow under repeat attack. False. This footage is from past Crimean port attacks, 2023, 2024, not now. Old Ukrainian drone footage shows Israeli airstrike. Well, false. This was republished from Ukraine, again, miscaptioned to inflame tensions. Video of people arriving in England is from Goa Beach. False. Shows Goan beachgoers, not migrants, arriving in Dover. Madeleine McCann police investigation shuts down. False. London Met clarified the case is still ongoing. Fake. BBC reports Hamas protected Bibis family. All false. That propaganda meme was never published by BBC. Digital driver's license live next week in UK. False. Trials are planned for later in 2025, but this headline is false. How about this? Trade deal exempts all Indian workers in the UK from Social Security tax. Well, it's false. This applies only to select Indian professionals under a specific scheme using employer-sponsored exemptions. The truth is out there, but not in what you are reading. I mean, okay, we've just navigated U.S. and international headlines. Each one verified, reframed, and humanized. Refear, context, and clarity. And yes, I mean, I could keep going. We can always keep going on this. It's in your feed right now. I can't even keep up. Every second, there's another headline engineered to shock you, not inform you. Hopefully that's why you're here. You're done with that bait. You're here to find the truth. You're done with the spin. So next time someone slaps a scary video or explosive claim in your feed, just stop for a second and question and double check. When you filter out lies, you find the real story, or you can. You got to look for it these days. Thank you for listening to True Crime and the Court of Public Opinion. This has been Headline Lies. We run this every Monday and Friday, and everything else in between, Tuesday through Thursday. I'm Alexis Knight, and I will keep hunting the truth one headline at a time. Stay safe out there, keep asking the difficult questions, and always demand the truth. Talk to you all the next time.